So hello guys, what's up and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's me, your girl barrister NEZE, and this is NEZE Peperempe. So moving comes with a lot of wahala. I mean the stress of packing and unpacking, arranging and rearranging, buying and discarding, and all of those many stuff. It can literally make you break down and fall sick. But there are so many other changes that comes with moving that is not as obvious or apparent as these things that I have mentioned. For us, for example, one of the things that had to change is the children's school. Yes, the children had to change their school too.
Come. Move everything there. Where that one?
You know how it is in Canada where schools are allocated to different communities, like the Catholic school system is what I'm talking about. I don't know what it's like for other schools. So this school, for example, can be said to be covering this and that community. And if you move out from that community, you have to contact the Catholic school board for them to tell you the school that is covering your own community, even if it's just 5 minutes or 2 minutes away from the former place. They are structured and mapped like that. Boogie, yeah!
Oh, that's the biggest if you have piano, you know we do the boogie.
So the place where we moved to is not so far from the former place, but unfortunately, should I call it unfortunately, the school that is mapped to our community is different from the one that was mapped to the former place. So we had to change schools. I know that the children had already settled in real fine. They had already made friends. They had gotten used to the other school, but what can we do? We had to move. It's not like Nigeria where you can just choose, oh yes, I'll take the drive and go there. No, it has to be structured that way. So I had to pull the children out of the other school and they had to start making friends all over again, getting accustomed to the new place all over again. I thank God for them. I thank God that they are not struggling. They do not struggle in that aspect at all. So we took them to the new place, got them settled in, and by the special grace of God, they are blending and coping with their new school. Then another thing that changed for us in this movement is Chinenyewa's daycare. Guys, Chinenyewa was already so used to and comfortable with the other place, the day home, the Nigerian woman's place that she was going to, and we too were very fine with it. Yeah, that's another change we have to deal with. This new place, we have a daycare just beside the house, and that's a miracle. In fact, we're so fortunate to get a space because it was a new daycare, so they were still taking in new people. In fact, we're one of the first people that got entrance into the place. So we were like, how can we leave a daycare that is just beside us? Like, we walk there. Chinemerem literally goes to pick her sister up. It is that close. Like, you can look at the daycare from your living room. We're so fortunate to get that. So we had to pull her out of the former place and moved her there. So many other changes. We had to change our mailing address. We had to start calling everywhere, from the bank to the government, several institutions and establishments that, mail you things to your mailbox. We had to start calling and effecting changes on several platforms to reflect the new address. Oh my God, there was so much to do. I cannot even begin to mention the several other things that we had to do. But that being said, we are good and we are fine. You guys know my receptiveness to change. I'm always very open to embrace what comes, right? So we are fine, we're all good. But there is something I would like us to discuss as my husband and his boys do the setup, the final setup of the furniture of the house. So in my last video prior to this one, I spoke about the enormity of changes that our children experience and have to adjust to when they relocate to the West. And in many videos before that one, I have also spoken about my own struggles and my own levels of adjustment, and women in general, how we women have to adjust. But what about the men, the odogus? Mostly of whom are already in their 40s. There are going to be televisions, 2 televisions upstairs, there'll be 1 television downstairs.
Would that be a television in our room?
Yes.
Oh!
Why don't we speak about their own challenges or their own difficulties trying to settle as well? How is it going for them? Is it just a walk in the park? Is it just business as usual? Now, there has been several debates on social media as to the appropriateness of relocating abroad to start afresh in one's 40s.
Your boys have been very helpful. Very helpful.
Look at how me and Didi are like. My mind is wet.
Mind you, a great percentage of people who can afford to relocate with their family of 5, family of 6, family of 7 to US, Canada, and Australia, especially as permanent residents, were not small children in their country. When I say small children, I mean they were doing very well already from their country of origin. Many of these men were already captains of industries. Many of them were managers and senior managers in oil and gas, banking and finance, insurance, name it. They were already fine. They had climbed up the corporate ladder back home. So some people argue that it doesn't make a lot of sense. It doesn't make a lot of logic. Leaving all those establishments and comfort zone, coming into a pool of uncertainty and starting all over again. But for some other people, they're like, material opportunities, money is not the reason why these men choose to relocate in their 40s. They're talking security here. Security of life, property, and investments. They're talking standard of living. Just being able to breathe fresh air. I told you guys that in Nigeria, every week, my kids from hospital to hospital nebulizing. My husband was not breathing with 2 nostrils. He was only breathing with 1 nostril for many years. But when we came here, nobody's getting nebulized anymore. No more black suits in Port Harcourt that we suffered for 10 years. Their nostrils are open. So we're talking about standard of living, talking about future of their children, enjoying a workable system where your taxes work for you. These and many more could influence such change, such decisions, where these men in their 40s that were doing well back home choose to leave everything and come to the West to start all over again, in quotes, as they put it. Drop your thoughts down in the comment section. But whatever the case may be, many of these established or semi-established men, if I can call them that, above average men that choose to relocate also face their own many challenges. Some of them have to start from the bottom of their careers, like literally they have to go to school all over again. Some of them even have to shrink themselves. Like there is the part of not being qualified enough for a job, and there is the part of being overqualified. So some of them have to hide their qualifications so they can just get a job.
Working hard, helping daddy.
That one looks like it's done.
And I'm going to break out that one. Unscrew it, unscrew that one. Unscrew it completely. Come in and can I look again, boy?
What actually 6? If I did this thing, we're going to 6. With your 2 masters, with your PhD, with your doctorate, with your 17 years experience at work, you have to shrink yourself to become supervised by a 25-year-old diploma holder. It's crazy, and it may have its effect on these men deep down inside. But you know, these men are not ones to always lament and be vocal about their struggles, but it is a thing. Now, that is even career-wise. Let us talk about domestically.
Oh, that's what you like to do first.
Is this instructive to lie down? Don't sit on it, let bed cover it first.
I need a bigger screen.
For that is waiting.
Don't worry,
For a sensible, responsible man who relocates, once he sees his environment and he sees the way things are, he doesn't even need a lecture to know or to be told that it is very different from the way things are or things were back home. Now only you and your wife waka come. It's teamwork that makes the dream work here. And most men that complain that my marriage changed, my wife did this, my wife didn't do this, she wasn't like this in Nigeria, she used to respect me in Nigeria, most men that complain like that their wife did this, chores did this, are men that have refused to apply common sense and adjust. Men that want to be titled men in Nnewi and still want to be titled men in Manitoba. Oga work. I have been telling you because I love you. Oga work. Now, we're talking about a situation where these 40-something-year-old men that were doing well back home, they can afford to pay a handyman 30K or 50K to set up all these furnitures that my husband is setting up by himself, right? They've never had to do dishes or cook by themselves. They never had to come back from work and start to pack snow or do laundry or do all this stuff. I'm talking about stations whereby on Sundays their only responsibility is to get themselves dressed and go and sit down in the car and start blowing horn. Beep, 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 beep. And their wives and the helps will be rushing. Get the children ready, daddy is ready. You're coming to a place where you have to roll up your sleeves as your wife is making breakfast for the family. You have to be getting the children ready for church. You're not in the car waiting there. Who are you blowing horn for? Everybody is involved. Are you understanding me? You have to participate in the running of the home, the care of the kids. You drive the kids for sports. I see men here travel to different provinces because they need to take their sons for hockey, for football, for soccer lessons. Men are involved 100%. You drop the kids at school, you pick up groceries, you clean after yourself, you babysit, you clean up your toilets. Nobody is going after you, packing your plates or cleaning up after you. Everybody is busy. You are the plumber, you are the painter, you are the carpenter, you are the mason man. You are everything. If we choose to tell ourselves the truth, this is a very big contrast from how they operated back home. And that's also a major change too. That's something that also needs adjusting. Even for men that were responsible back home, for people like my husband, for example, that were already supportive and involved back home, it is still a lot of change for him. There is a new level of participation that is now required of him than when he was back home. And that is a man that was already, getting his hands dirty for the family back home.
It's getting too tight, Dad. It's getting tight too. It's good. Am I doing a great job?
Yes. Let's do it.
Then you can imagine what it is like for those agony chambers that do not even do at all. It will be very difficult. And it is okay to, discuss and wonder, how are they coping? How are our daddies coping? Our odogas? And I guess that is why we all need to be very patient with each other, because it might not be as it's difficult for you. It's also difficult for him. It's also maybe difficult for the children. So that's why there should be a high level of patience, understanding, cooperation, encouragement, holding each other's hands amongst ourselves as husbands and wives, or even as a family, the children. There has to be one big synergy in the family for it to work, because these changes can be very overwhelming. And that's why you see many couples that come abroad. they fight. I won't lie to you. Many couples that relocate, oh my God, it's as if there's a collapse. They start fighting, they start arguing, they start quarreling. It gets really heated for these immigrant marriages. The struggle when they just get here, because they're trying to adjust. They're trying to say, okay, who does what? There is that unspoken fight of who is doing more than the other. This one is feeling cheated that she or he is doing so much more, while the other person is feeling like they're the ones carrying the bulk of the load. It can be challenging. But what I'll just say from my experience, it didn't even take me so long when I came here to see that, you need to sit up, you need to buckle up, you need to partner with each other. It is not master servants. That's why I did that video on don't come to Canada. And some of those were angry. They were like, how are the Asian women doing it? I said, you're not ready. I have lived with the Asians. In fact, Asian men are even afraid of their wives. I don't know where you learned that Asian men don't do anything and it's their wives that do everything. It's not true. Everybody cooperates here. What I'll just say in conclusion is that when we as couples decide to be kind to one another, if you are kind, you cannot see your partner suffering or overburdened or overwhelmed. You cannot see your husband carrying so much load financially and you have the resources to assist and you sit down. That's unkindness. Or you see your wife dying from chores and you can get up and do something, but you sit down there watching her get old and you're pressing your phone. That's senselessness. That's an unkind person. But when couples choose to be kind to one another, they choose to compromise and leave all this superiority contest to the side, choose to focus on making the home work. They choose to understand the realities of their new life and they're happy to adjust and adapt readily. They will be fine. They will come out stronger and the family will be happy. That's my belief. Do drop your thoughts down in the comment section. So guys, yes, we are fully settled. I believe this video marks the end of this our movement series. Drop your thoughts about everything I have said in this video, from the topic of relocating in one's 40s to the difficulties that men face adjusting to the West from Africa and every other thing that we have spoken about. I would like to get your thoughts. Drop down in the comment section so we can converse. Thank you so much guys for joining me in this video. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. Drop your comments down in the comment section and I'll see you guys in our next one. Goodbye.